All right, here we go. We're back at it again. We're going to talk about State Farm. We're going to pull the curtain back on State Farm. But first, I want to talk to homeowners. Homeowners, if you are dealing with a denied or delayed claim, or if you're looking for a second opinion from real adjusters, we want to hear from you. I'm pulling together a new segment of Beyond the Claim where we visit real homeowners and take a look at what's happening with their damages. We've got to open up, you got to be open, right? And willing to let us review your claim, discuss it on camera, and show what's really happening with your property, because this is about transparency and education. So if you do, you got to know that it will be on the channel, all right? Our panel of licensed adjusters will give their honest opinion, their professional opinion on your situation, and what went right, what went wrong, and what options you still have. Now, it will not just be adjusters on here. You will have a contractor. You will have a public adjuster. You know, public adjusters are normally there for to represent homeowners. There will also be a desk adjuster and then a field adjuster as well. And also be me. I will be the host. But, you know, as an adjuster, I do have an opinion as well. But I'm going to let the panel, you know, do the talking and give their opinion. And remember, this is opinion, and it's not giving you advice of which way to go, all right? But this is something that you can take and make a move on if you want to. So if this sounds like you, head over to beyondtheclaim.com and click submit your claim. You see that QR code there up in the corner. If you scan that QR code, it will take you to Beyond the Claim, and you'll click on submit your claim and let us know what's going on. You might be featured on one of our upcoming episodes of Beyond the Claim Field Files. This is real claims, real damage, real advice, and that's what we're here for, right? Really excited about this new segment, so we'll see what happens. All right, good deal. Now, so today, you guys, we are talking about Allstate. We are going to go ahead and pull the curtain back on Allstate and get to know who we're spending our money with. It is time for us to start doing our due diligence and know who we're spending our money with and if we want to continue to. So this is what I told you guys. You know, Allstate, pretty much, you're in good hands. But are you really? That's the question. And a lot of times we don't do enough research to know if we are or not. But just like we did with State Farm, we're going to look at Allstate's financial standing, their political money, and their public nonprofit work. And most importantly, how they actually treat their customers. Because marketing is cute, but numbers don't lie. So let's go ahead and get into this, right? So now, Allstate's financial standing. Allstate isn't just a big insurance company. They're one of the largest insurers in the entire country. They're not like State Farm that are mutually owned, which, you know, they're owned by their policyholders. No, Allstate is publicly traded, S&P 500 company, stock ticker, all which means they answer to investors first. Allstate financial strength is solid. Reports show they manage about $112 billion in total assets. They have multiple lines of businesses: auto, home, renters, life, business, even specialty coverages. But here's what matters to you. When a company is publicly traded and their number one priority is the shareholders' return, not customer satisfaction, and you feel that in their premium, in the way claims are handled. So yes, Allstate is financially strong, but financial strength doesn't always translate to customer care, right? Now, I can tell you that I have Allstate, and I'll let you know how they handle my claim that I recently had. I'd never had a claim until I came back and one of my pipes burst, and it messed up some things in my kitchen. So I'll let you know how that went as well. But Allstate and their political power and contributions. Just like State Farm, Allstate is heavily involved in politics, and I'm talking about heavily. Here's what they disclose. Their APAC, All-PAC, contributed around $260,000 to state and federal candidates in 2024. Open secrets show Allstate donated around $313,000 to the federal campaign in 2023 through 2024 cycle. They also spend millions in lobbying and funding social welfare organizations. And some reports showing about 4 million plus in political and advocacy spending in a single year. Now remember, insurance companies don't spend money for nothing. Political money is how they shape regulation, claim practices, and the rules that ultimately determine how they pay out and how much you pay in. If you remember a previous episode, I told you how State Farm had to petition in California because they want to do a rate hike. This is the same thing that these companies do. They do have to get permission. This is why it's important that we vote for people who will stand for us, who will look out for us, you know? So Allstate do participate in politics. And it's not about Republican or Democrats. It's not about protecting Allstate. And it's not about you. Allstate is protecting Allstate. They don't care about Republican. They don't care about Democrat. They don't care about. They are going for who is going to protect them, right? And hey, if I was Allstate, maybe I would do the same thing. I don't know. I don't have a company that large, but thinking about what we do and how we spend our money. Who would we spend our money with? Would we go with Democrats? Would we go Republicans? Or would we just be there to be straddling the fence? Giving donations on each side, just in case when one side get in, you better understand and remember that I did donate to your campaign. That's pretty much how that works. Now, Allstate public and non-profit work. Now let's talk about Allstate. Allstate loves to highlight its public work. They have the Allstate Foundation with programs focused on youth empowerment, ending relationship abuse, workforce readiness, nonprofit leadership volunteerism. IRS filings show that the foundation has over 76 million in net assets in 2023 alone. They spent nearly 38 million in charitable work. They also had over 117,000 employee volunteer hours in 2024. And listen, I give credit where it's due. Their nonprofit work is real and it does make community impact. But that's one thing that I do like. That's one thing that I do like. And I always say, if we're going to spend our money with these insurance companies, we want them to be able to give back into our community. When we have these storms come in, we need mitigation work done, drains cleared, debris removed. That's, to me, that's when they should really kick in to sort of clear the landscape so we'll know how we need to rebuild. That's mitigation work. That's pretty much what FEMA would normally do. But with this administration, they sort of cut that funding for a lot of places that was approved for it. We're talking about mitigation, building back up the community, So this is a good thing. I definitely got to give credit where it's due. But we also have to ask, is this philanthropy work or is it just branding? Because at the same time, they're donating millions, right? Homeowners policies in place like Florida, California, and Illinois are seeing skyrocketed premiums, non-renewal, stricter underwriting. Yeah, they do. But I can say that's across the board because even State Farm is doing the same thing with those same states. They're really cracking down because those states get a lot of, storms. And I can definitely see Illinois. Illinois get a lot of hail. And Illinois is one of those states that public adjusters run that state. And they try to run up those policies. Oh my gosh, I've had to deal with so many public adjusters in Illinois. It is spread to Indiana, but I'm gonna tell you another state, those PAs are taking over. That is going to be Texas. Almost every claim I got into with Texas, especially hail claims, those PA took over. And let me tell you something, they weren't playing with State Farm. They were pretty much almost immediately taking those claims to appraisal. Yeah. It was like, no, we're taking this to appraisal. No, this is what we're getting for appraisal. We're not even going to deal with all this back and forth. We done told y'all what we have here, but this is how you want to act. So let's just go to appraisal. And that's what I saw on my last rotation with State Farm. that those particular states, yeah. And I can see it, and it's across the board pretty much with all companies, according to what I understood. But I did see where State Farm supposedly was giving a 10% discount for policies. And so I ran over there to try to get my little 10% discount. Let me see what my auto would look like, what my home would look like. No, ma'am. I don't know what that 10% discount was supposed to be towards, but it surely didn't work for me. So you can go over there and take a look, but I don't know about that. Now, one thing you can do, you can give back to the community and still treat customers badly. Both can be true at the same time. How Allstate treat their customers according to the BBB and consumer sentiment. Let's talk about that part. This is where I got the information from. Do Allstate really care, about their homeowners, about their policyholders? How does Allstate treat its customers? And this is where the story shifts. And it's the same thing with State Farm. It's the same thing. It's almost like they don't have enough adjusters, but they would have enough adjusters if they keep independent adjusters like myself working. They'll have enough adjusters to make sure those claims are dealt with and settled. But this is the thing, though. Thousands of complaints filed against Allstate in the last 3 years. Repetitive patterns of complaint issues with claims, delays, poor communication, difficulty reaching the adjuster, denied or lowball claims, non-renewals, and high-risk states across multiple consumer platforms. Allstate consistently show 1 star to 2 stars ratings, high dissatisfaction with auto and home claims complaints, and sudden premium increases. And many customers say the same thing. You are not in good hands. You are in expensive hands for a company with billions in assets, millions in political spending, and a massive nonprofit footprint. Their customer satisfaction does not match their financial image. It just doesn't match it. And I can't say, you guys, recently I did have a claim with Allstate. I did. I had a water claim with them. Came back, my pipe burst and messed up my cabinets, my flooring, my wood floors, and all of that. I must tell you, and to be honest, Allstate treated me very good. I think, according to the adjuster, her name was Courtney, who I spoke with and dealt with the whole claim. She was telling me they were trying to revive and renew customer service, right? Courtney was my field adjuster. I had a desk adjuster. When I filed that claim, the next day, Courtney reached out to me. The desk adjuster reached out to me. Another person followed up with me to make sure my claim was going accordingly. Another person followed up with me to make sure that Courtney got in contact with me. The desk adjuster reached out to me to make sure Courtney got in contact with me, right? Courtney got in contact with me. We went over everything. She took her photo. She did what she had to do. And she did tell me that she will be back with me, maybe give her about 5 to 6 days. Within those 5 to 6 days, that desk adjuster reached out to me and made sure everything was going as planned. Just talked to me a little bit more about my damages. Now, one thing I was saying, what I was thinking, I was like, gosh, why is this desk adjuster reaching out to me so much? Because sometimes they kept asking me the same questions over and over again. I was like, okay, wait a minute, are they trying to catch me in a lie or something? Because they kept asking it over and over and over again, right? And I was like, I don't know, what's going on, but I'm an adjuster as well, so it was fine with me. But if you're talking to a homeowner's not sure, and you got these different people calling, but it was fine for those different people to call, because it's one thing about them calling and one thing about them not calling. You want people to call you. And I just got to be honest with y'all. Allstate. With that claim, I was getting hands. Courtney called me back every time. If I left her a message or sent her email, she called me back that next day. She sent me a message that next day. Anytime I called her, she answered the phone. Y'all know that is rare. And she did tell me that Allstate was looking to ramp up their customer service. They're looking for people that will give excellent customer service, because that is what they need. So to me personally, Allstate must know they have a problem. But I can tell you, Courtney handled my claim. I was in good hands. I got my payout. The only thing that was a little bit different from normally of Allstate and State Farm give you 2 years from the date of loss to recoup your depreciation payment. Allstate only gave me 6 months, which was interesting. And I was like, okay, I need to go back into my policy and verify that, because I can't believe 6 months to get something repaired. Because I was in and out. I work. I'm also an adjuster as well. So whenever I get work, I'll leave and come back. State Farm do give you 2 years, but they told me 6 months for this claim, right? So, but I do have to give them credit. I was in good hands with Courtney. Courtney did her thing with Allstate. That is so true. They paid for my wood floors. I did have to go back and forth with them on the plumber's bill. I'm an adjuster. I'm gonna go back and forth. I know what the cost should be, and sometimes they will lowball that cost. But I did my due diligence. I looked it up. I sent back to them, what I researched and what it should be to me, and so they came to a good agreement. So that only lasted a little bit. So I have to give Allstate their props for how they handled my claim. And I just got to give it to them, right? But according to what I do have here as well, my research, I can see now from my own experience, they're trying to do something about their customer service. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you this. What homeowners need to know. Here's the truth. Insurance companies are changing fast. Premiums are rising. Underwriting is tightening. Claims are getting harder. Allstate is financially powerful, politically connected, publicly polished. But customers, they're hurting. They're frustrated. They're paying more while receiving less. So as homeowners, here's what you need to know. Read your policy, shop around annually. Don't rely on slogans. Rely on facts. Document everything. Understand that big companies serve shareholders first. Your protection starts with you. Awareness is really Awareness is not their commercials, right? They say you're in good hands, or State Farm, you're your good neighbor, who are farmers, whatever. You got to do your homework. You got to know who you're giving your money to. You want to know everything about these companies that we are shopping with and that we're giving our payment to each month. This is what we got to do, and this is how it is, right? So this is Allstate. I've given you everything that I looked up about Allstate, and I also gave you my experience with them. And this was about 6 months ago. So I'm going to tell you, I know that Allstate here in Atlanta, they really did me right. And I don't know if because I'm an adjuster, I'm not going to say that's why, but honey, all of them, they fell in line. Everybody continued to contact me, even Courtney, my field adjuster, because this claim stayed in the field for the whole time. The desk adjuster did not take it over. That claim stayed in the field the whole time I was working on this claim, right? And even Courtney called me and told me, hey, go ahead and send in your receipts. Go ahead and send in so you can recoup your depreciation. You guys, normally adjusters do not do that. They don't be calling to follow up with you and tell you it's time for you to send in. Courtney did that. And the only way I can say that was really good, she had to be trained by someone at State Farm to do these follow-ups. So I mean, someone at Allstate to do these follow-ups. Now, I apologize for saying State Farm. I meant to say Allstate because I worked for State Farm so many times. But Allstate did their thing with me, and I just have to be honest, right? But it just, again, to let y'all know, Allstate, the financial giants, they got deep pockets. They got deep political pockets, strong nonprofit presence, and a complicated relationship with policyholders. And maybe they are changing it, just like State Farm. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. But I just can tell you about me and my experience with them, right? So when it comes to your home, your claim, and your money, you need to know the truth, right? This is your truth here. This is beyond the claim, where we just don't take the commercials at face value. We're going to pull back the curtain. So you are protected, and you are what matters, because we're paying for this. So, if there's any cover up, it's going to have to stop. It stops right here. And we're going to continue to go through these companies and pull back the curtain so we'll know who we're spending our money with, right? All right, that's what I have for you. But I do want to do the last call out. Hey, if you're a homeowner dealing with a denied, delayed claim, or just want a second opinion, for real adjusters, we want to hear from you, right? We're putting together a new segment of Beyond the Claim, where we visit homeowners. We're going to take a real look at your damages, a real look at your claim. You got to be open. You got to allow us to review it. You got to allow for it to be on the episodes, because this is what it's all about: transparency and being open. So you can click that QR code. It'll take you to Beyond the Claim, and that's where you will click submit my claim, and you're going to put your information in there, and we'll get in contact with you if your claim do line up with what we're looking for. So I'm very excited about it. I really am. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm so excited about to get started with that. But definitely go to beyondtheclaim.com and click submit your form. Now, I did wear this shirt as well on another episode, and I got some questions from you all. Some people was inboxing me, asking me where I got this shirt from. And the shirt says "Control Your Hate." I got it from whereitbeit.com. They have a lot of inspirational, shirts there, rebellion shirts, stand-up shirts, so you can go to whereitbeit.com, and they have these type of shirts there as well. All right, that's what I have for you guys today, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.